Alright, so welcome everyone to Swans Cast. So just starting up a new channel. Let's see where it goes. Just to talk about the Swans basically and football related stuff, and just we'll just take it from there and see what happens. So I want to introduce you to Lee and Chris.
Hello.
Lee is, as you can see in the top left, Chris is currently just got out of the shower, so he's got no camera on today. But so we have some other people coming in and out as we go ahead. But yeah, let's just talk about what happened in the last match then. So against Barnsley. So Lee, what do you reckon? What's your verdict on the result?
Yeah, I thought it was all right. I mean, not the prettiest of games, but I think we sort of moved away from playing some unbelievable football and focusing on getting the job done at the moment. So I think that's what they've done again. A solid 2-0 win, I think.
Yeah, when you say unbelievable football, I'm guessing you're basing that on the last two matches. It was Reading and Watford where we played quite well at home.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the key difference, isn't it? Like, if you look at the Reading game, we played brilliant football and didn't score. So I'd rather have a game like Barnsley on the weekend where you don't actually play that well, but you win the game.
Yeah. What do you reckon then, Chris? What was your verdict on the match?
To be fair, I was going to turn it off after the first half because it wasn't the most exciting game, was it?
No, it wasn't really a thriller, if you like.
But I mean, if you're going to get promoted, you got to win them type of games, and win ugly.
So what saved you turning it off? The goal just before half time, is it when Roberts turned into? He sort of focused in on his inner Rory Delap.
Oh, I did actually turn it off.
Did you not see the goal?
Not the second one, no.
Oh, the second one. Fair enough. But I think you both hit the nail on the head. It wasn't a pretty game, but sort of won ugly, and I guess winning ugly is a sign of good team. Can't really knock our stats in terms of defence. Another clean sheet.
To be fair, though, the defence they brought, they haven't had like the same three defenders in all season. They've been chopping and changing, haven't they? So it's not just like the same people who are like.
Yeah, so obviously we lost Rodon, and you could argue like. Everyone said he was the best defender, but it's not like it's just been a case of we've lost him, and then it just shows it wasn't just him before, because you got like Cabango, you got Bennett that's come in, you got Geehee, who obviously
Manning and Bennett, they've been like chopping and changing the last couple of months.
And even so you said Manning's come in, they've moved Bidwell to left centre back, and even though he's done that before in the past, where it hasn't really worked too well, QPR in the Cup last year I think was prime example. But yeah, it just seems like they're all on the same wavelength in this new formation, and it's not just one of them that's on board. Even when the new guy from Man City, Joel, I can't say his surname, what's his name? Latibeaudiere,
is it?
Yeah. Even when he's come in for like his one or two appearances, he's looked strong, and it was first game.
Yeah, but I think now that he's changed, since he changed that system of playing three at the back with the wing backs, I think he can just sort of chop and change, isn't he? Because the system sort of fits in, and it means they're not conceding as many goals. So I think we've got the luxury of all those defenders. Like I said, we've lost Rodon. I think Bennett coming in was probably an improvement. I know Rodon will probably go on and do bigger and better things, but I think Bennett,
like current ability
I think he's improved the defence with taking Rodon out and putting Bennett in.
He's more experienced than he's won promotions and played in the Premier League recently, so can't really argue.
I think he's been class so far.
But yeah, I guess the promotions allowed them to have a little bit more trust because they know the extra cover's there. And then, or at least at the start, and now I think the confidence is just there. They just don't. I feel like there's a mentality that they don't think they're going to get scored against.
Yeah, you're seeing a different side to us at the moment, which I'm quite enjoying. It's just sort of they're saying to teams, look, come on, you're not going to score against us. Fancy your chances not to concede goals. Same like Saturday against Barnsley. I know they had probably more chances in the first half and probably the better of the game, but they were always confident. We never really looked like conceding a goal.
Yeah. So
and then that allows us then to take our chances. Like, it was a similar QPR away on Boxing Day. We just sort of absorbed all the pressure they brought onto us.
Yeah.
We just fancy them not to score, and then we just take our chances.
So, Chris, what do you reckon who's been the standout defender for you this season?
Robert.
Speaking of which, apparently he's been given, who was there a bit of grief on Twitter about rugby
He's the
throws.
new sheriff.
Yeah,
He's
new sheriff.
Oh, Ken, yeah, he tweeted Ken Owens and he was good.
Ken Owens, yeah. Yeah, so speaking of the throw, what do we think of a scoring from a long throw then? Everyone likes to celebrate the Swansea way, and that's probably the most anti-Swansea way thing, but obviously it's led to a goal, so what's the thoughts on that?
We haven't really played the Swansea way.
Maybe not, but like everyone still likes to quote that as our mentality and what we like to strive to try and achieve, so that's obviously probably as far away as you can get. That's something you'd maybe associate with Sam Allardyce or Tony Pulis, but it's
I think we're just in the middle, aren't we? We're not doing the Swansea way anymore, and we're not doing Cardiff football, so I think we're just in the middle. And you've got to have a few long balls here and there, haven't you? So
they're just adapting, I think.
Yeah, I think it's a happy medium.
One game like the Watford Reading, maybe playing the passing football as we'd expect. But then...
Yeah, but it's another string to your bow, isn't it? Like the game against Reading, we played good football and had tons of chances. And if they can, that game really wasn't going anywhere. And if we've just got to throw it in that sort of position in the pitch and you can throw it in and we can get a nothing goal out of it, then why not use it?
And there's a couple of games I think this season have been like that. I think the one that immediately springs to mind is Coventry away. It was a bit of scrappy, bit of not really much structure, no one taking hold of it, but I guess that sort of thing. Then you just get, it's essentially a free corner, isn't it, from just a throw in? So
yeah, it's just another sort of threat, isn't it?
So yeah, I wouldn't mind more Connor Roberts long throws if they're going to result in goals. At the end of the day, it's just one passage of play, isn't it? So Andre Ayew's good in the air, and a couple of others as well, obviously the defenders. So it's something that we could use more going forward, I think. What about Jamal Lowe then? What do you reckon? Top goal scorer this season, do you reckon, Chris?
I didn't really see it coming.
Yeah, he's all right, isn't he? I mean, seen better.
But yeah, so we watched the Norwich game together. I think it was that game he missed two sitters, really, 2 1-on-1s with the keeper. That arguably, if we had scored, we could be looking at top of the league at the moment. But that's ifs and buts. But yeah, did you see his form coming around after that?
He's been maturing like a good cheese. Getting better as we go through the season.
Yeah, so what do you reckon, Lee? You said you didn't really see it coming.
No, I didn't see it coming, to be honest. He's not really brought in to be sort of a number 9 striker. He's more of a wide man, so wasn't really expecting many goals from him. But I think, and I will be honest, I was highly critical of him after the Norwich game, and I think there was a few games leading up to that as well. He missed some good chances, and I just thought it's not going to work. I remember saying maybe it's time to swap him out. Maybe give Cullen a run out, and the guy from Brighton, I can't even say his name.
Gyökeres, is it?
Gyökeres, yeah. However you say that, and I was calling for him to maybe give him more of a run out. But
he's going to score against us when we play Coventry, definitely.
Not guaranteed, yeah.
But yeah, I think they did drop him for one game with Jamal Lowe and give Cullen a run out, and he did okay. But I think since he came back into the team,
they did give him a run out. Maybe
that being dropped, you're not going to start every match, helped a little bit. But I think since he started scoring, I think especially the Cardiff game, he's kind of gone from strength to strength. And I know you said he wasn't brought in to be number 9, but I feel like Cooper must have had that known that was in his heart. And I think he has done an interview before saying they thought that he did have the attributes to work with what they wanted to try and mould him into that position. Because obviously they knew the formation they were going to play since the original lockdown. They've done it, haven't they? So they must have been expecting to play him.
Yeah.
Even if it's not starting, if they wanted to get another striker in or whatever, or like you said, the guy from Brighton, if he was expected to do better. But I think it's worked out really well in the end, and he's probably just quite versatile now. So even if we did bring someone else in, perhaps he could even drop behind Ayew and the other striker and play where maybe Gibbs White would have played.
Yeah,
I don't know if that would work.
No, I think him and Ayew work really well. Him and Ayew work really well together, don't they? I mean, I think his goal scoring form though sort of come in line with. I think Ayew's been a bit quieter in the last couple of games, where maybe he's taking a lot of attention away.
I don't know if he'd been quieter. He hasn't got on the score sheet, but the Reading keeper made some worldy saves to deny him some goals. It's
Yeah, he's always in the game. Like, you've got to have him there because he's always in the game. But I mean, in terms of like every game you watch, he's sort of everyone's sort of touting him as man of the match every sort of week. So I think he's sort of dragging some attention away for someone like Lowe to just start having more space, getting more chances.
Yeah. So Chris, I know you didn't watch much of the Barnsley game, but what other players do you think caught your eye, or at least like as a whole this season?
Andre Ayew.
Any particular reason?
He's just good at scoring goals, isn't he?
Yeah, he is,
I don't know if I don't know if he could do it in the Prem, but
like if we went back up again.
Yeah, I don't know if he would be the answer.
Quite a few for us in the Prem when we were there before. I want to say like 14.
Yeah. It's him and his brother have played for us now. Do you reckon his brother plays in the Prem? Do you reckon he's like that much better?
I think.
Because I always thought Andre was the better out of the two, but
I think that they're just different, isn't it? I think Jordan Ayew's a bit more of a tricky player, like probably a little bit more skillful. But I think Andre is probably a little bit better football mind, maybe.
He's younger as well, Jordan Ayew.
Yeah,
he's probably sort of coming
Andre's
to his
definitely
peak,
better
isn't he?
I think Ayew's.
Yeah,
Jordan is younger. I think probably. Well, Jordan was basically our best player when we got relegated, wasn't he? In terms of for like attacking wise, because that match that he got sent off against Huddersfield literally ruined our season.
He was out then, wasn't he? I think he was scoring quite well, wasn't he? Yeah.
Well, that was literally, we thought that was a good point after we drew that 0-0, but because he was out for 3 games, we didn't score a goal. So that's literally where it went downhill.
Yeah. Mate, how do you remember these facts? I haven't got a clue what happened in the Barnsley game. I knew quoting like 3 or 4 years ago, like results.
Just one of them things, isn't it? I think Lee's got better memory than me of even further away. Back probably like League One days and stuff.
Yeah, I can't remember what I had for breakfast this morning. My own fucking results 3 years ago.
I'll dig deep.
I can remember what you had. Didn't you have gone off Weetabix with gone off milk or something? Okay, so the last thing about the Barnsley game then, what do we think about the pitch? I think it was quite similar to ours a couple of weeks back, so maybe we were a bit more used to playing on that sort of surface. And pitch surfaces are in the news again today with the Blackburn game getting called off. So do you think the pitch helped us get a win? Or was it like more detrimental to Barnsley's game than ours? Or?
I don't know. I know ours was bad. I obviously didn't see it in person, but when we were watching the games on TV, I still thought the ball zipped like across the surface quite nicely because there was no grass, so it was just flat.
Yeah.
That Barnsley pitch was just like a rugby field. It was just all cut up, and there was no chance of playing any sort of football on it.
Yeah.
So that's why I think the long throw came in handy again.
Yeah.
It's just adapting, isn't it?
Yeah, and I guess that's, like you said already, a good trait to have is to adapt. But it's not like your loan at the back, is it, Chris, that pitch? Your loan's more like the one behind me, innit?
Well, no. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you talk about the Swans pitch, but you know when we were in the Prem, like they were winning awards, weren't they, for like the best pitches year after year and stuff like that. Like, what happened?
Oh, apparently I had the disease because they relayed the pitch, didn't they, after lockdown? And so, I don't know, someone must have got into it. I don't know how it works, but apparently it was diseased. That's why it just couldn't regrow.
What, the new pitch was disease, was it?
Yeah, usually they rip it up, don't they? Like at the end of the season, and they treat it then over the summer.
Yeah, so I don't know what happened.
I think because of lockdown, they didn't know when it was gonna. They didn't know it was gonna start up again, or when it was gonna start up again. So they had to sort of leave it for a while.
Talking about ripping pitches up, you know the Spurs stadium. Have you seen what they do? If there's like an American football game on, they literally take the football pitch and put it into the car park. They like wheel it
rotates out, doesn't it? Yeah,
it must be a lot of like quite expensive how they set that up. Like to be able to do that and keep it alive, I guess, and a good quality.
Yeah,
but it's a very new stadium.
Might be artificial as well, though, isn't it?
It's probably. Is it like a thing to be half and half or something? I don't know.
Yeah.
I might
I
be
don't know. I think most NFL pitches are like AstroTurf type things, and they like.
Could they be AstroTurf, like diving all over the place? You'd be getting like burns everywhere, wouldn't you?
No, not like the old school AstroTurf we used to
Go
have
for
in
a
school.
slide,
You
play
used to cut your
football.
leg.
Traumatised going up the Phoenix
Oh, God,
Centre, dive in and getting
God. Yeah,
2 degrees on my legs.
Cut your leg on that, and it would go fucking green for about 3
I think I've
weeks.
still got some sand in my knee from 10 years ago. Like,
Or the little ball things they put up on the pitch, like the little to keep the water out or whatever,
like black
Get
rubber
stuck
stuff.
in your shoe. Yeah. Okay, so I would normally be talking about. Well, then the Blackburn game would have been the next game after this was recorded, but that's been cancelled. So we're going to move on and talk about Nottingham Forest, which is up next in the FA Cup. So I think Forest, I know we played we won away, was it earlier this season? But their form's turned around a little bit of late, so they haven't lost in at least their last 5 matches, but I'll have a look in more detail now. Are they playing today, or was it, they haven't got a midweek game this week, have they? It's been cancelled. Just having a look.
I'm not sure. There's games tomorrow as well.
They're playing tomorrow against Middlesbrough. Or I'll say the 20th of January, just in case anyone's watching some other time. So their last couple of games then, so they've won their last 2 in the league, which was a 3-1 against Middlesbrough at home and a 1-0 away at Preston, and in between those they beat Cardiff 1-0 as well. So it's 3 wins in a row. And then the last league defeat was another 4 matches ago where they lost to Brentford, so there was 3 draws in between that and a win against Sheffield Wednesday. So it's a decent run that they've been on, so it's a little bit different from last time we played them, where they were really doing quite bad. So what do we think about this one?
I don't know. I'm torn a bit. I don't know. Like sometimes I think, I really want a cup run, especially knowing that we've got Man City next. But if they go through, but it depends what sort of side he's going to put out. I know he was moaning about the schedule a bit, wasn't he, this week? But the cancellations probably helped him a bit in terms of getting a bit more rest.
Yeah.
So I don't know if he's going to ring the changes in totally like he did against Stevenage, or maybe a bit of a mix and match. But I think if he wants to go for it and puts a full side out, I can't see us struggling to beat them at home. I think the way that we're playing, he's good at sort of cup style knockout football, isn't he?
Well, I think rotation, probably will still do some rotation, but like I would have said he probably wouldn't bother now because of the cancellation. But when you consider the next league match is the Wednesday after the game and is against Brentford, then I think maybe you will rest some players. What do you think, Chris?
You don't want to lose momentum though as well, do you?
No, I don't think it'd be a full scale change the 11. I think maybe 5 changes, 6 changes.
I mean, like if you make like quite a lot of changes and then you end up losing like 2-0 to Forest at home, and that's gonna hit the confidence a bit, isn't it, going into Brentford, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. You're right. I don't know whether I would make changes because it's a tricky one to manage really, because at the same time you wanna give some of the others a chance. So like, I don't know, maybe you'd rest some players like Kyle Norton. He's a bit older, so maybe you'd bring Latabodier. Is that how you say his name? I'm not sure. So he's just come back from injury, so maybe you'd bring him in, rest Norton for the Brentford game, just in case, because he's had a couple of hamstring injuries this year himself. I don't know who else. Maybe if we do get this loan sign-in from Aston Villa, maybe he'd have a run out, or at least from the bench.
I mean, what's his name, like?
The guy from Aston Villa?
Yeah.
I don't actually know.
Okay. Do you want to look it up then quickly?
Horahan, is it? It's going to be another contentious one. It's Horahan.
No, Houlihan used to play for Norwich, didn't he?
No, Houlihan. Remember him? Horahan.
Was the other one?
I think it's Horahan, isn't it?
Jody Morris, isn't it? Or Jordan Morris.
Morris, yeah.
He looks alright actually.
Who's Jody Morris?
On Facebook, but that.
Isn't Jody Morris like a D-list celebrity or something? Or is he a footballer?
Jody Morris is a footballer.
He's a footballer, is he?
Yeah.
Okay, so especially if we sign Houlihan, which is apparently tipped. Houlihan.
We're going with Houlihan.
I don't know how to say his name. It's Hurahan or
I'm sure it's
Hurahan. One of the other. Connor Hurahan. Horahan. Get rinsed in the comments about that. But yeah, and Jordan Morris could potentially be with us by the weekend, although I think Jordan Morris wouldn't be able to play because of the quarantine that he potentially would have to...
10 days quarantine, isn't it?
Yeah, so he probably wouldn't be able to play. So we could see Connor get a run out, potentially, but maybe from the bench. Byers potentially, I think, might come in, rest one of the centre midfielders. I think what he likes to do in the Cup is maybe start like Felton and Byers together and use, for example, Grimes and Smith half each. That's what he did last time. He used one of them and the other two half each. And then Danda perhaps would get a run out. I can't really see many others, maybe Man in as well. But and a new keeper. So what's that, like already said 5 or 6 changes. But that's what I would think would be quite likely.
That's the beauty of it this year. I mean, we haven't really had depth like we had. I know we've lost it a bit now with all the loans being cancelled, but our depth is pretty good. Like, they bring a couple in. They bring in Morris now. I know he won't be able to come in for the game. And Horahan.
Yeah, I haven't seen much about him, but obviously John's not here now. But he was saying that he's quite an exciting signing.
Yeah, I think it's a good signing that they managed to bring him in.
Has he had the previous?
It's not one that I thought we'd be able to pull off when it was mentioned. Yeah, he went up when Villa won the playoffs. He played for them regularly.
So, but he's still signing then, is he?
No.
I saw some stat today that out of like 126 goals for Aston Villa in a certain time period, he had contributed to like 56 through assists or goals or something. So
yeah, I've just got him up now.
Good set piece take as well.
I didn't realise because I didn't really recognise his name so much, but I've just looked at his stats now. He's 29 years old.
Yeah.
He played for Barnsley before Villa, where he scored 29 goals in 112, and for Villa, 132 appearances and 23 goals. So I guess he's got a goal on him from midfield, and you're saying about the assists. I don't have them stats here, but that's probably what we need more. Someone that can score a goal from midfield, but also set up AU and low, I guess, is what Gibbs White would have been doing. So it's kind of a like-for-like replacement, I guess.
Yeah, it makes sense.
So, okay, what's your...
I'm sure, if it's the one I'm thinking of, I'm sure he's got a free kicks as well and set pieces. I'm sure he's scored a few for Villa in the Championship.
I don't think we've scored one since Selena left, have we?
Oh God, I can't even remember the last free kick we scored.
I think Selena might have scored one. Might have been in the Cup, actually, but I could be lying. I'm pretty sure I recall Selena scoring one. Grimes is at the post a couple of times, isn't he? I don't think anyone else has really scored a free kick for us in the Championship.
Not since we come down.
Not since Gylfi left have we looked dead cert from dead balls, really. But yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you reckon then? Chris predicted lineup for the Cup game.
One goalkeeper.
You have to be funny, didn't you?
Just the one.
Go on, call who you think is gonna make the cut.
Oh, test me on it. Right, you're gonna have who's this new guy they've signed? Goalkeeper, what's his name?
The guy from Huddersfield.
Huddersfield, yeah.
Oh, I can't remember his name.
Hamer, is it?
Yeah.
Hamer, yeah.
Hamer.
Yeah.
Probably chuck him in, won't he? Probably. Unless he's cup tied.
Oh,
cup tied, is he?
He could well be, actually. It's a good point.
And if he is, I don't know who the hell do you put.
Well, they had was it Josh Gould? I think it was him. They either had Josh Gould or Liam Webb on the bench last week, and then they recalled the other ones. Whichever one was out on loan got recalled. So I guess if he is cup tied, it'd probably be Woodman starting and one of those two on the bench. But yeah. Okay, so I've just checked. So Ben Hammer, that's his name, yeah?
Yeah.
So he started in goal in Huddersfield's last cup game.
Right.
So he's not going to be able to play. Where they lost to Plymouth Argyle.
Oh yeah, they did, didn't they? Yeah.
So
you've always got to be a bit sceptical when a team in the same league as you is willing to sell a goalkeeper in January.
His contract was up in the summer, I think.
Yeah, but I've got to be a little bit sceptical, isn't it?
I guess.
Was he starting for them like regularly?
He did. He started like 13 matches for him this season. He was a free transfer as well.
It's not bad.
I thought they paid an undisclosed fee for him.
I think it was pretty much free though. Like maybe there's some add-ons, or like if we go up, we'll give him some money, maybe something like that. From what I saw, it was pretty much like his contract's expiring in the end of the year. I don't know if Huddersfield are in the best place financially either. Obviously, they came down the same year as us, didn't they? Was it the year after?
Oh, year after they stayed up, didn't they?
Yeah. And they've not done great since coming down either, have they? So, So, okay then, Lee, what's your predicted lineup for the game?
Well, Hamer's obviously come tied. It'll have to be Woodman, wouldn't it? I'd like to see Manning have a full game on that left full back. I know like Bidwell's made it his own, but I'd like to see Manning have a proper run out there. I don't know, probably it'll have to be Connor Roberts. I worry about that other side, because if Connor Roberts gets injured, it sort of changes the whole way we play, because I don't think Norton's got the legs to...
You can't go the arms either as well.
Run it. Probably, what else we got in defence? Have to be Latabodier, Bango, and probably Norton. Probably give Bidwell a rest. And then probably Smith, Fulton, and Byers. And then Lowe and Ayew. I'd go for it. I'd pretty much play a full side. Lowe and Ayew up front.
Fair.
Smith, Fulton. Byers a run out for fitness.
Yeah. Definitely needs to have more minutes, I think. So Chris, what are you going for then?
I'd probably go for Woodman. I'd put back three, Norton, Gooey, and Cabango. Yeah. Probably put four in front of them: Roberts, Grimes, Fulton, Bidwell. Smith as an attacking midfielder, and then probably chuck Ayew and Lowe up front.
So you're not making any changes then?
Changes to what?
From the last lineup against the Barnsley.
Oh, is that the last lineup, is it? Yeah, no, not making any changes.
Okay, fair enough. I think that he will make changes, but not many. So I think maybe Woodman in goals. I would say Cabango's probably going to stay in defence. It's a bit tricky, the other two. I think Latabodier will play. Whether he'll maybe play Evans that played in last time, but probably not. So I think he will probably still play, and he'll rest Norton just because he's had a few injury troubles. I think Manning will get a run out, and he'll probably stick with Roberts when because I think he runs like forever. Didn't seem to ever rest him. In the middle, I think he'll play Byers and probably start with Fulton or Smith. I'll say Fulton for now. Dander probably in front of them, and tricky up front. Routledge and I'm going to say Lowe to start with. But I don't know, is Callum still there? Maybe Callum will get run out, but I'm going to go with Routledge and Lowe, and then he'll probably make some changes later on to try and rest some of the others, I guess. But yeah. And predicted scores then. So Lee?
I don't know. I'm not very optimistic about our games. I think when the draw was made, it was sort of like, Man City, we're going to get revenge for that other game, the one where they beat us in that FA Cup with all the bad decisions. So I think it's just one of them, isn't it? I think we might lose. I'm going to go 2-1 Forest.
Chris?
1-0 Forest.
I think I'm going to go... I don't know. I'm going to say 2-0 Swans. Standard scoreline where we seem to be winning by at the moment. But I just think we're playing quite well. The rest, and without too many changes, I think probably managed to get over that line. Okay, moving on from the Cup then. We'll just sum up what we think the season so far. How we've been doing, and maybe what we need to bring in January, other than the ones we've already spoken about. If we need to bring in anyone, to see if we can actually get a serious challenge for promotion or even the title and what we think about that. So, what do you reckon, Chris? What of our seasons so far?
Well, it's been good, but it could have been a bit better, seeing as we were only in second.
Yeah.
I am actually quite surprised.
Yeah.
Because I thought it was just like a little spell of like good results, and it's just continued and continued. And after how many games we played now? Like 20 something. Yeah. We are still up there, and we are starting to have a little bit of a gap now, aren't we? So
yeah, so if you want to say playoffs, so 7th place, we've got 37 points, and we are on 46.
Yeah.
Plus, we've got a game in hand now, because Stoke are currently playing, and it's 1-1. So if anyone wants to know when this was recorded...
I'll tell you what, if results go our way tonight as well, I know Bournemouth have lost already, which is a good result. If results go our way again, and we've still got a game in hand, and we're still up there...
Yeah.
And we could be laughing.
So Watford had a game in hand over us then, did they? Because they're 1-0 up at the moment and 3 points behind, but the same amount of games played.
I'm pretty sure Brentford had like 2 games in hand over us at one point as well.
Yeah, they've had COVID issues, so they've got a few games to play.
If they win both of those, they can go above us, I think.
Yeah, so if they win both, they'll go 1 point ahead of us. But I was saying to Lee yesterday, like, it might work out worse for them. Obviously, they got to recover from whatever COVID issues they got, and that could affect some people more than others.
Lots of smell and stuff, yeah.
They've got the pressure now of knowing they have to win to get back into that position. Whereas they were on such a good run as well. Maybe that break isn't necessarily going to be the best thing what they would have needed. But we'll see. They're playing tomorrow, isn't it? Is it tomorrow?
You'd rather have the points on the board, wouldn't you? I know, like, we'll have games in hand. You're like, oh, if everybody wins their game in hand, but you'd rather play the games and have the points on the board.
You'd rather play first than chase, because at least you know you've done it. There's nothing more we could do, is there? So at this stage, they have the 2 games which we've already played. They have to win them. So I'd rather be in a position that we're in. So yeah, I think the same as you, Chris. I'm quite surprised where we are. I'm not surprised maybe if we were challenging for the playoffs, but you could still argue that we're challenging for the title because we still got to play Norwich, and if we won that game, bearing in mind it's at home, as things stand, I know the game is in the next game we're playing, but as things stand, we would only be 1 point behind them, and we're only playing them just at the beginning of February, so it's like 2 matches away in the league. So, if we have good results and they have good results, it could be very tight after that game if we manage to win it. So you can still say we're in the title race, but being more realistic, I think second place is probably by the end of the season what we're maybe challenging for.
I think we might fizzle out.
I've been saying that for a while, but
I reckon we'll probably end up 5th or 6th or something. And
at the start of the season, I would have taken that, so I can't be disappointed.
Well, yeah, of course.
But from where we are now, I think when you look at some of the stats, I haven't got in my hand, but I think at this point in the season, we're like joint best defence ever in a championship. We've had more clean sheets this season, I think including cup games, than we've conceded goals, which is crazy. And I think there was a stat saying like every team that's had such a good defence as what we've had ever in the championship in past years has gone up. Whether we'd be the first team to break that, who knows?
You reckon we would have had a better defence if we had Rodon or not?
No, I genuinely don't think we would have. I don't know whether it would have been any worse, but I don't think it would have been better.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's one of them where I think like the leadership of Bennett as well, we don't miss him so much when he's not there because he's maybe had such a good influence on the others. I know they were doing well already, but obviously he's definitely brought some experience with him from Wolves and being at the age he's at as well. You were saying he's signed into the season the other day, weren't you?
Yeah, I think he is. I think he's been class since he's come in. Solid. I mean, since that signing he's come in, I think that's when our results are sort of taken off. There was a lot of sort of 0-0 draws and games where we played well and we were dropping points and we were picking up a win. It was quite sort of not really inconsistent, but it was not as good as it is now. I think since he's come in, it's been great.
Yeah. So overview of the season for you then, Lee.
No, I agree. I agree with you too. I didn't expect us to be up there. It's kind of like, we had that amazing start last year. We were expecting it to sort of fizzle out, and it did quite quickly. But, I think this year it's been a surprise. But I think playoffs is realistic. I don't think we'll necessarily fizzle out, but I think if you look at the teams that are up there, like Norwich and Watford and Bournemouth and Brentford, they've probably got a little bit more than us when it comes to the run-in, I think. When it comes to the latest stages of the season, if we dip a bit in form, I don't think we've got the players. Maybe only Ayew can drag us out of a bad run. I think like Watford squad and Bournemouth squad. I know Bournemouth are in a bit of a dip at the moment, but I think they'll probably be up there. I think we'll be close enough. I mean, we'd probably be challenging the third and fourth, looking in on the top two, but I think that's probably where we'll end up, maybe fourth or fifth.
I think you are right, but then at the same time, like, obviously I said challenging for second is probably where we are. Maybe we will finish third or fourth, but when you're comparing to like Watford and Bournemouth, maybe not so much Brentford, I think the 3 seasons we've been in the Championship now, it's been the third, a lot of the same youngsters have started and been part of the team. You've seen them sort of develop. Obviously now, it's consistently got better in terms of league position as well. They're kind of there wanting to prove something, whereas the ones that got relegated, I think that's the difference between us and everyone else really that's come down since we've come down. We basically got rid of all of our players that got relegated, but they're all coming back up with the same team. Yeah. So it's kind of like, that's a bit refreshing, and I feel like the players that have come through our youth, and maybe not the ones that brought us down, they have a little bit more to like prove, a little bit more drive, and maybe that's why when you look on paper our team maybe looks worse than theirs, but those reasons is why it's maybe doing better in regards to like performances on the pitch. So I think maybe that could carry us through, but like we are a little bit thin if there's a couple of injuries, which would be the only concern really about us fizzling out. But like I think a couple of weeks ago I probably would have said playoffs, but I think we should be aiming now definitely for automatic, like as an aim the team should be aiming for that should be what they're looking for. So
you've got to go for it. You've got to go for it definitely with the position we're in. And I think we're playing. I think it's great that we are challenging these teams. I mean, if you look at like the players that Watford have brought in and the squad they've got and the money they've spent, to be above them and Bournemouth, and Norwich came down and not losing those players, to be in that question is.
Talking about Watford, right? Ever since Jamal Lowe went into Ben Foster's GoPro, I've been watching Ben Foster's videos, and they're actually pretty good.
Yeah, I've watched them all.
They are good.
I watched the Swans one, and I thought it was good. And I went to the start then and watched them all the way through the class. They're really good.
Freddie should get one set up. I think if people are going to celebrate in front of that all the time now, aren't they?
I can't believe how much he loves cycling as well.
I know.
How can he do it?
I've seen it's like out in the morning. It's like 8 o'clock in the morning. There's like an hour cycle, then goes into training.
Yeah.
Then does like
an hour of cycling.
An hour of cycling.
You should just cycle to the away matches.
Yeah, I know.
Well, good on him, I guess. It's nice, I guess, to see a football player being a little bit more in touch with reality a little bit.
They've got a good life as well, man, haven't they? I mean, have you seen that? Have you seen that the home games? They like stay in a hotel the night before, and like I was watching one of them. Yeah, I was watching one of them. The home game was 8 o'clock at night, and they still stayed in the hotel the night before. I was like, what is the point?
That's, well, I can't imagine the Swans paying for our team to do that. All right, boys, have a night down the Travelodge, boys, Wine Street.
They do that. I don't. Do the Swans stay in a hotel before?
Well, they just drive to the match.
They all drive in, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, you see them driving to the match, don't you? People wait and stuff, and they get pictures when they're walking out of the cars. But I think that's better because you're more in touch with the fans and the community. Then there's an opportunity for interaction. I think that's quite important. Not like shielded away in a hotel and no one sees you. The other one when you get off the bus. I just think that interaction, and a lot of the players will have pictures of the people waiting and the kids. Obviously, when it's no COVID, and I think that community aspect of it is quite important, especially for our club. Anyway,
that's overkill. That is, isn't it? So it's like regimented. They have them in at a certain time. They've got to go to a meeting, and they've got to have food at a certain time, and they tell them what to do.
You think it was like Man City or someone, but it's Watford.
Yeah, it's good though.
Okay, what do you reckon we need
It's
to
good
bring
though. I
in
love
then?
watching it. I like seeing what they do.
Yeah, that is good. Okay, so you're saying playoffs maybe fizzle out. So who do you both think? Not necessarily personnel, but what positions do we need to bring someone in to try and maintain our position in second?
Just cover really, because I think our starting 11 hasn't really been affected by all the loans going back. I think sort of our team that we play every week. As long as I don't know when Bennett comes back. I think once he comes back fit, I think that starting 11 is capable of getting second.
Yeah.
But then I think like Connor Roberts has been so good for us. I worry if like he picked up a knock in every game week in week out, which he has been doing.
Yeah.
Then there's nobody that can play that role.
Well, I guess Nolan does side, it, but he maybe doesn't go as attacking as Roberts would. Yeah. So maybe you'd have to adjust like.
They play Garrick.
Could they play Man? Yeah, they did do Garrick, but could Manning play right?
Maybe.
Could try it. I don't know. But so yeah, fair enough. So what you say you had like two transfers that you could say the two that the guy from America and the guy from Villa, say they're in confirmed. What two more would you say? And pick an example of a player if you got one.
Like a striker who can score 20 goals a season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyone in mind?
I
don't actually know who's available. Don't really know any loanies we could get from the Prem at the moment.
Yeah, I think if Horahan comes in, I think we're all right in midfield there. Bayer's coming back and Dander's still there. I think that's enough cover in midfield.
He's going to use that guy from America probably up front, I'd imagine.
But I hear he's a winger though as well.
He does both, so he does a bit of both. But it's going to be like, I think he's going to try to do the same as what they did with the low. That sort of thing. He's got a bit of pace. Maybe they'll even play like in behind, or you will drop behind. I don't know. We'll see. But
apparently there were a few teams after this guy from America, wasn't there?
There's a couple in Germany.
Bundesligas. Yeah.
So I think you're right though. A striker would be good, and I have to know a striker that can score. But I don't know who. I'm a bit gutted about that guy from Southampton. Obafemi, is it?
Yeah.
I got injured in training, didn't he?
Oh yeah. I just feel as though I might be completely wrong, but we haven't had an out-and-out proper striker who's scoring goals for like ages.
Well, McBurney, probably, but that was one season. He would have continued to do it, I think, for us. He scored over 20 goals in the one season. He was our first choice striker. I don't think Sheffield's system allows anyone to score 20 goals a season, so he's never going to recapture that form with them.
I don't see why they need like 8 strikers.
Because he plays 2 in one match and 2 in the next match, and then
how does that work? It's ridiculous. How do you keep them all happy?
It's working well for him. But striker and the other one, maybe a little bit of, I was going to say a bit more midfield, but probably not. Probably a right back, a right wing back. Not that Connor Roberts necessarily needs someone to make him play well at the moment, but if he's not there, you're right. Maybe someone that's happy to like come off, sit on a bench, but does offer something going forward if we need him to play. So they're the two I would agree with you that probably need the most strength.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. And then we win the league then.
Yeah. Win the league. Well, what is the difference between us and winning the league at the moment? Perhaps it is just a goal scorer from day one, rather than trying to mould Jamal Lowe into one. But we can't really complain. That's being a bit harsh. But it's been good, lads. So probably try and get this sorted. Hopefully launch it tomorrow, so that'll be the 20th. But follow our Twitter, which I'll put in the link just for the Swans Cast, and there's also an Instagram, so I'll link those two below. But catch you all in the next one.
Have we got a Parler account as well?
Another moment. I haven't used Parler before.
I was thinking you could do like
Go on.
And I was just gonna say, like we did the predictions, you can just do like points for all of us.
Yeah, we'll start it for the next league game, shall we?
Yeah. So we just do a prediction at the end, and or in the middle, whatever.
We'll see who wins by the end of the season.
Just get points.
Yeah, so we'll get that down. We'll get everyone else who's going to be involved to do one as well, even if they're not in each episode, and we'll see what comes out on top by the end. That'll be good. Check it out on Twitter. People can get involved if they want it, and see what happens. But yeah, it's been good. So cheers for coming, Lee, Chris. And catch you on the next one. So
no worries.
Have a good one.
See you later.